Well, folks, this looks like it's going to be killing many Americans who are struggling as a result of post-pandemic recovery, actions of the Fed, Jerome Powell, Biden administration, global conflict, inflation, spending all this money, sending it to Ukraine and things like that. Folks, check this out. Federal Reserve won't avoid hard landing. Oh yeah, don't forget the banking system collapse, CBDC rolling out, ISO 20022. But it says the Federal Reserve won't avoid a hard landing. Rate cuts for Americans, which basically means bad news, folks. It's not good. In consideration of what I'm actually going to share with you guys in just a moment, warning, it's not for the faint of heart. Powell is losing the fight on recession and inflation, according to Bloomberg. And that losing that fight, honestly, doesn't really hurt him. It really just hurts the people out there working hard, trying to survive and keep their heads above water. And it says here that Jerome Powell, the new Paul Volcker, what do you guys think? Comment down below. But folks, no, seriously though, this is a problem because what it means, what it translates to is that people are going to have a hard time being able to afford to cover the costs of their expenses, their necessities, food, water, shelter, healthcare, transportation, things you need to survive, things you need to continuously go to work if you even still have a job to do to earn that income to try to be able to weather this storm and, get on the other side of this. Forewarning, the other side of this looks like it's going to be quite some time away. So planning and preparation now should be for a long duration. Okay, stock up, stockpile, prepare, do what you got to do. But ultimately, the challenges that we are seeing, the challenges that we are likely to continuously face, are going to be financially motivated and pushed and last for quite some time and only get worse. But this, folks, is devastating. Landlord tenant officer shoots woman in the head during eviction, police say. A Philadelphia landlord tenant officer shot a woman once in the head on Wednesday morning, according to police. Person shot. I think that might be a separate story. So we gotta keep up with this because that's pretty much all we're going to see in the news moving forward, folks. Pain, destruction, despair, loss of life, tragedy, conflict, demise, division amongst people, amongst genders, amongst races, amongst cisgenders and transgenders and all of it, folks. It's crazy. A landlord tenant officer shot a woman in the head during an eviction process on Wednesday morning in Philadelphia's Fairmount neighborhood. And according to law enforcement officials, the incident occurred just after 9 a.m. when the rent server, an employee of the landlord tenant office, was serving eviction paperwork at the Girard Court Apartments along the 2100 block of North College Avenue. The landlord-tenant office is a private entity that carries out court orders, and the officer is not a servant of the city's municipal court. A spokesperson for the court explained that a landlord-tenant officer is instead paid by a landlord. And at some point during the eviction process, a struggle ensued, according to investigators. And it says here that Philadelphia Police Lieutenant Jason Hendershot said he made contact with the residents inside, and at some point during that contact, a physical struggle ensued, at which time the rent server discharged his firearm, striking the female resident in her head one time. The woman's husband, Gabriel Plummer, gave his account of what happened during an interview with NBC 10, and he said that Plummer said he was trying to push the door open. We're pushing it closed because you're not coming in here. We don't know what's going on. Plummer said the officer was then opened fire. And he says, I seen when he drawed up and he just like this, bow, he shot her. Just like that, boom. Plummer told NBC 10. And the woman identified by Plummer as 35-year-old Angela Davis was transported to a nearby hospital where she is listed in critical condition. Officials said that the incident is currently being investigated. A weapon was recovered and the officer has been detained. Now, this is a sad and unfortunate series of events, but I want you guys to be aware of what's happening here. The financial struggle, the financial turmoil, the uncertainty in the banking system, the crisis that we're in the middle of, this systemic risk, contagion, liquidity crunch, layoff, mass layoffs, high inflation, unemployment numbers at lows because people are working multiple jobs. But at the end of the day, prices are going up, inflation is on the rise, everything is becoming more challenging. Therefore, you may find yourself in a situation where you're past due, behind on rent, potentially facing eviction. But what's important is that, if that occurs, you have to realize, you got to understand the potential dangers that could lie within that situation of a officer, so to speak, serving an eviction notice or trying to gain access to the property, and what their intentions are, what they're capable of. Additionally, this could pose a huge problem, as where's the line drawn where a homeowner, albeit a tenant, is then in the middle of what they deem could potentially be breaking and entering. Lot of questions here, lot of what ifs, a lot of implications. But at the end of the day, it's par for the course. Philadelphia landlord-tenant officer shoots woman while serving eviction notice. It's par for the course because, times are tough. Things are challenging. Costs are going up. Income is not. And, the money and savings, emergency savings, safety nets, those have all been wiped out. Stimulus check payments, if you ever received 1, 2, or 3, if any, are gone. Unemployment benefits are gone. The boost to unemployment benefits are gone, and everything is on the rise. And honestly, in certain particular neighborhoods, they're probably going to have a greater impact than others. And, rent prices are going up too, folks. Rent prices are going up. As let me pull this up. This says here that rising rents push Seattle residents further into suburbs. Man, if you guys, can you see how many pop-ups are on these articles I'm trying to read to you? I'm about to just read y'all the advertisements that's on these pop-ups. But the rents are going up, okay? And it says, while the entire country is seeing low-income households move to the suburbs in search of more affordable housing, the Seattle area is already in its second wave of migration. That migration is going to continuously occur, especially in Washington, especially in Oregon, because we already know there's a lot going on up in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. Walmart shutting down stores, all the stores in particular cities, and there's a lot going on with, political concerns that are not necessarily helping the situation. We got some states looking to succeed and become parts of other states because it's so bad. It's crazy. But a new study from Princeton University's eviction lab showed that between 2000 and 2016, parts of Snohomish County have overtaken South King County as the areas with the highest rates of eviction. South King County, formerly a haven for people seeking affordable housing, has become so expensive that many low-income residents have moved again, this time north to Snohomish County, where they face fewer tenant protections and a higher risk of being evicted. And suburban evictions have risen overall in the Seattle metropolitan area. Nearly 79% of evictions in the area were occurring in the suburbs by 2016, up from 72% in 2000. And, it's not just Seattle. It's not just Seattle, because New York is making the news here. Lawmakers could pass the nation's strictest state law, rent control law, by the end of the week. A controversial good cause eviction bill that will cap rent increases could be included in a budget bill that must pass by April 1. So if I got any New Yorkers out there, any New York renters, landlords, tenants, please comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about what's coming, as Chinese landlords say that good cause eviction would ruin them and that Democrats don't get it. And you can see some Chinese people here on this picture, and it says in New York City, NYC, where a majority of Chinese households own a home, landlord protests have ignited on WeChat and the courthouse steps. Now, WeChat made me spark my memory on WhatsApp. Folks, I am not trying to contact you on WhatsApp. If you get a message, a comment, a reply down below with a picture of my face and my pretty, maybe I'll start changing my avatar regularly so that the bots can't keep up. That's not me. I'm not trying to contact you on WhatsApp. If you want to hit me up, links in the description down below. Okay. But we got a lot going on with renter protection, renter eviction. But at the end of the day, eviction's a problem because costs are a problem. Inflation is a problem. But beware, because oftentimes payment isn't made because the tenant refuses to make payment and or the landlord refuses to make repairs, improvements, breach of contract, so to speak. But in this particular situation, just a heads up, his rental house wasn't up to code, and after calling the city, he got a notice to leave. So it actually kind of backfired, and these retaliatory evictions are technically illegal, but some Wichita city officials say they can happen anyway. And this may be a push to get people evicted, as landlords will let the homes, the properties deteriorate, and or they can't afford to maintain them themselves either. And then the tenants will file complaints, and then the city will ultimately deem the property inhabitable and then force you to leave. So there's a lot going on here, a lot happening. And, then you got the whole racial matter of a black mom suing her landlord after he tried to evict her and allegedly said he'd rather put a white family in this unit. Quote unquote, I don't really want to go into that conversation, but I just don't want African Americans in this unit at this time, the landlord allegedly said in a text message. I'd love to see that text message if it actually exists. Because, last I checked, money has no color. So, or race or ethnic origin. An Ohio mother is suing her landlord after she said he stated eviction proceedings because she's black, which is odd because, theoretically she was black when she applied to rent the unit. But it's crazy, folks. It's crazy what's going on out here. I really can't believe it, but I have to because it's literally right here in front of us. And it's not getting any better. 62% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck amid inflation. More people have a side job now. Like I said, the unemployment numbers are a little skewed because people have multiple jobs just to try to make ends meet. Meanwhile, Powell is losing the fight on recession. We're going to see a hard landing, and that hard landing is going to hurt the low-income middle class that's being wiped out as we speak the hardest, folks. Okay. Americans in these states are hurting the worst financially. Are any of these states, the states that you guys live in, Louisiana, is on the list here? Let's see if they have it. They got Louisiana, got Mississippi, West Virginia, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Arkansas, New York, Alabama, Texas. Folks, this is crazy stuff here, and I don't think that there's any reasonable steps and actions being taken to improve these situations. It's only getting worse. Half of Americans say that they'd face financial ruin in a recession. Many of them are already saying that we are in a recession. Look at it. Look at the sad face on that dog. It's crazy. How did they get him to take that picture like that? How did the dog get so unhappy about the state of the economy? That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, this is terrible stuff. Recession fears rise. More than half of Americans say that they'd lose everything. 3 in 4 Americans fear a recession will hit this year. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let me know. You guys take care. Be safe. See you real soon. Bye.